Hey everyone, David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter, coming at you from SHOT Show 2023. We are here at the Artisan Cutlery booth, Artisan Cutlery and CJRB both, of course, which means we get to talk to Russell again.
Oh yeah.
How are you, sir?
Doing great. I'm about to take up a whole bunch of your time.
Well, it's good to see you. But if you're taking up our time to talk about knives, I don't mind.
Oh yes.
All right.
Oh, yes.
So you want me to start over here, so
all right, so
tell me about this bad boy.
Oh, this is the Accelerator with an X. This is the first design I've seen in a long time by Mr. Mike Snowdy. He has been he's been at a lot of shows I've been going to, and I've just been having wonderful chats with the guy. And I'm just like, Mike, dude, when are we doing something? He's like, I know, when are we doing something? And we got this done. I got him a ticket to the show. He's here. He's having a great time wandering around. Came fully dressed in a suit and tie. I'm like, Mike, dude, you're making me look bad. This turned out great.
Yeah.
And just
tell me about it.
All right, so the Accelerator is obviously a much larger knife than we've done in quite a while. A lot of our most recent big knives have been, big, but not big. This is big. Look at that blade. It's a chunky monster blade. I like a little bit of the gold accent here, but because
green and gold always works
so good. But that nice thin handle, because there's that pinky area there, big choil there, it fits really comfortably. I have pretty small hands, and you have medium.
It's like larger than average. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, fits in that natural area quite nicely. The area right here is sloped so you can choke up. That's really nice feeling. Get real close behind the edge, and I bet you it's going to work well in a reverse as well.
Oh, it's real good in reverse
because of that.
But that nice harpoon on the blade, you get the amount of blade on this thing. And the one thing that I'm seeing is that everyone's like, oh, that's lighter than it looks. Oh, it is. That blade is ground pretty thin. It's not obscenely it's not like a 1/4 inch thick blade. The micarta is lovely and light, but it is a full steel liner frame. So it's got a good kind of forward-moving balance to it. Also, notice we have his logo right there, milled onto the clip. He was coming by saying he had a bunch of his old customers looking at that saying that looks like a $4,000 knife. I'm like, thanks. It looks pretty good. That's what we do.
Please, you're not going to charge that much for it.
Oh no, I think we'll probably be running into a very comfortable price range with this one.
Very cool.
Currently, the production version or the prototype has RPM 9 steel on it. We might be jumping up to S35. Either way, because it's micarta and steel liners, the price is going to be very reasonable for a big old honking blade. Also, sits surprisingly nice in the pocket.
Yeah.
Actually gets pretty small.
Yeah, that folds up not too bad.
Yeah. It's not going to be the most tiny low profile fit,
but
very
manageable.
Yeah, and because it's got a very smooth back, it's comfortable.
Yeah.
I am reminded that I was a big fan of Mike's way back in the day, and this is why I liked his stuff back then. My tastes have changed, but I appreciate what he does, and this is reminding me why I like his stuff so much. So we are really happy to work with him. Mike, of course, is a wonderful dude, super humble, super amazing. I miss his old bravado. He's a gentle family man now, but man, his knives still just just
very,
right.
Very
so
nice.
that is the Accelerator with an X.
The X makes it cooler.
Exactly, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's go on. Working on the name for this one, but as you can tell, we have a new fair and fortune. And the action of it, I'll let you do the first flip on this one. This thing feels incredible.
Yep.
Yeah,
looks great.
Elliot and Chris, those boys can make a knife. That blade is super thin, super slicey, has that nice high grind.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can put some texture on the tie here. Let me pass it over this way just so I can kind of finger it a bit. But that nice shiny tie feels great. It is a little slippery, but because of that nice bit of contouring and that termination board there, it sits in the hand really nice. Great jimping, and of course this fuller here is just
perfect for that.
Oh yeah, let's see if I can get an actual front thumb flip. Oh.
You're embarrassing us. Come on.
Stick with middle finger. I can get it, but my angle's weird. That's my excuse.
Okay, I'll buy it.
There we go. Roll it open.
No, I didn't even, honestly, you mentioned slippery. I didn't even get that, honestly.
No, it's the shape of the handle.
Well, it doesn't feel slick either. It's got a little bit of a matte.
It's got a light blast and kind of like a soft polish. There's a softness to it that feels like it's just it's in and out of the pocket really nice. There's something that feels very premium about the finish, but it does have that a bit of slickeriness, but because that handle is so nicely shaped, it doesn't feel like it's just going to whoop out of the hand. Yeah. It sits. It holds
perfectly well. Yeah.
And the jimping, I love how that's a nice aggressive jimping on top.
Yeah, plenty of grip, plenty of traction there.
And the blade's it's wide. It's got so much cutting power because it's so tall, it's so thin, it's so slicey, and that stock is not really, really thin.
No.
It's pretty thin, but it's trim and it's powerful.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Elliot to give me a good name on this guy. He's had a couple ones. I'll wait to confirm it. So it's like, all right, for now,
No worries.
new Fair and Forge Proto.
Very cool.
It's hot. All right, and this one is not technically new. This is the Seder. We had the Seder version 1 last year at SHOT Show. A lot of people liked it, but we got it in hand. Chris got it in hand. It's like, we can fine-tune this one a bit more. This one, again, finally got this one ready to go. It took about a year. It took a lot of back and forth to me and Chris. It still has a few things we need to adjust, but it's really getting there. So you feel all that milling on there. We milled the pocket clip. It's got a little bit of texture on the clip. Mm-hmm. There's that chamfering plus milling. It's a super slim shape, but that blade is changed drastically from the last one. Yes, it was a drop point. This one has a much more inline blade. It's really tall. It's really slicey, thin behind the edge. And the opening on this one, we actually put a front flipper on this one. Chris is like, maybe not. Let's change that. But that little opening hole, we're probably going to take this one down a little bit, extend it a little bit farther, open up this chamfer a bit, because this is meant to be a flickable knife. In hand, this sits absolutely just perfect. It's locked in there. Even with this kind of more thin tail, it just locks there. And I am the flipper works great, but it's the aesthetics of it may not work. I think it's fine, but Chris is like, no, we're gonna change it, and then rolls open nicely. I'm not gonna embarrass myself like last time. We're good. Maybe once.
Well, my injured pinky here is making it hard for me to do reverse flick, so I won't try to do that either.
The poor pinky, but just give that a good grip.
Yeah, no, it feels very good.
It locks. It's just it's there, but it's thin. It's trim. It's light, and it carries really nicely.
That's exactly. You beat me to it. That's exactly what I was just about to say. Yeah, that's gonna be real easy in the pocket.
And again, I am kind of a fan of his designs. I still carry my absolutely just beat up Arian.
Yeah.
But this knife is. I like Chris's style. I find this to be very much an evolution of this knife. This is just a bit more even spaced. This is very much conforming to the hand and the body. Mm-hmm. I dig it.
Yeah, the line. There's a certain grace to the lines here that I'm really picking up on.
It was something that was very well thought out.
I like the no visible screw on the pocket clip from
and
the
the
back.
very
real
small clip. It's a small, low-profile clip. I do like the black version. We do have a satin one too so far in the protos, but it disappears. It's small. It's light. It's the blade. It's it feels small and light, but the blade isn't. It's a big blade. It's a lot of cutting. It's a lot of cutting edge. It's a lot of blade, but it feels like a compact knife. I don't quite understand how that works, but it does. This comes out in your hands that fits there. It's just right, and the blade just perfectly.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, that's going to be a great carry.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that is the Seder, and that is done by Cerberus Knives or Chris Ortiz. So
that's the new Artisan.
Yes,
and we've got a lot of CJRB to take a look at as well.
All right, so there are only technically 3 models here, but we all just in variants see what people like. Mm-hmm. So let us start with the one that I know people are really excited about. I'm gonna hand you one, I'm gonna take the other, because
Thank you.
If anyone's been on social media for a bit, you may have seen this one. This is the Echo, designed by Ray Laconico, and if you've seen it, he just made his custom version of this. Came out a few months ago. He had his first run of customs, which are beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think they're a hair bigger, but they are incredible. And I really want one. I can't afford one, but they're amazing. Ray, buddy, it's okay. I got a Rebel, that's why I got one of his last customs. Nice. I was like, oh, it's so good. But the design of this is so clean. Yeah. It's so just the shape of it, that belly, the curvature. There's something really friendly about the shape. And Ray's stuff has always been very clean ergos, clean design, simplicity at its best.
Yeah.
But this one, with the front flipper, with that nice thumb hole, I feel like this one actually rolls really well.
Yeah.
And it flicks equally well. And these two have some nice, the burlap micarta there, some green micarta here. We're debating on what we're going to do handle scale wise. Mm-hmm. We have some polished G10 ones over there. It looks.
Well, I always do enjoy some burlap, and it's an especially good look on this. And the
here, why don't we swap and you play with the green one?
The light contouring on the handle there feels really good.
It sits so nice.
It does.
I think Ray wants the clip to be adjusted a little bit, just canted over to a bit of a more direct angle on this one. Mm-hmm. But this thing's freaking beautiful. I am very stoked to have this in the CJRB line. I believe it's going to be one of the most affordable Ray Laconico models to date, and I'm stoked. Ray, I really hope Ray's gonna be happy with these. I got to get these to him right after the show.
Yeah.
And so far so good. But
The handle works. I mean, I know what you're about to say
yeah,
with the butt, but yeah, the handle works, feels good in a lot of different positions, and I love feeling like you can get right behind the edge there too. Like you can choke up, feel nice and safe. The pinch works really well. That's a really cool shape.
it's so nice. But of course, because we had to make sure there were options available.
Button lock.
But button lock, because man, it really is the year of the button lock. Man, we decided to just run one of these to see if Ray likes it. This has a similar formula internally to the Pyrite. It's got the same studs, same placement of the button. I think this one actually, this uses the same size button, but front flips wonderfully. Closes, oh, that sound. Oh. And this
Sounds
one's
good.
an all steel frame lock, all steel frame, not frame lock, all steel frame. And in hand, I love that kind of square shape because the edges really do kind of sit in the hand nicely. It's not like aggressive, but it does allow your fingers to sit on the flat surface and applies your natural grip of your your fingerprints provides you natural grip. This allows for a natural grip. I enjoy it. I feel that the weight of that feels really nice. It's very satisfying. I'm not sure what I feel about the studs. I kind of want to put the hole on there, but you know what? It's up to Ray. If he likes that, good on him.
Sure.
We're doing it. But as that goes, I feel like it's just a much more like designery version of the Pyrite, and they're both amazing knives. I love the Pyrite. I am so incredibly happy. You guys did the special edition is amazing.
Yeah.
But this has another bit of flair to it that just kind of like if you like the sheep foot, you didn't like the clip point of the Pyrite, you want that shape, this is it. This is that almost, I hesitate to say it because I don't want it to happen, but the one and done budget knife.
Well, I mean, the geometry of that blade too is nice. This looks maybe a tiny bit thinner than the Pyrite's blade. Or
It's just because
about
the
the
swedge, same stock, just that swedge is a little bit thinner.
But it's a nice thin blade stock. You got that high flat grind, nice aggressive tip on this. And what I really like I enjoy the contoured ones for the feel.
Yes.
But what's nice a little bit about this flat version is you can really see the definition of the profile of the lines there, and just how excellent the shape appears. Like to my eye, as soon as I pick this up, I'm just admiring these lines there.
It's clean.
Yeah.
It's clean, and it's nice and milled out on the inside, so it's lightweight comparatively for steel.
Yeah.
It's not
it's
not light, but it's lighter weight than it could be if it was just slabs of steel. And of course, because we're at SHOT Show, the nice thing about a bunch of companies, including ours, having steel button locks now, because I know there are a few other ones out there, because gotta follow suit somewhere.
Right.
These are engravable.
Yes, indeed.
Like the easiest thing, you don't need to worry about like the tie stuff. You don't need to worry about like the laser density and like all the whatever you have to do for tie to get like the nice laser engraving. This you just put on a plain engraver and just there you go, done.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask, price-wise, probably very similar to the Pyrite, I would say, given
probably
size and
tad
materials
more.
are real similar.
Tad more because we got to do the Ray tax, the Laconico tax. Make sure he gets his due.
Absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
royalties. We got to make sure that man gets paid.
Oh,
my goodness,
as he should be. Absolutely.
That man should own a limo and a house, and
No, it looks great, man.
it's so good.
Love it.
All right, so that is the Echo, EKKO. Echo, and please, by all means, look at Ray's custom version because it was good. Next up, we have the CJRB Riff, and I'm gonna hand you the plain Jane one. I'm gonna pick up this flashy one right here. So, guys, I'm running out of names to work with because I know we do geological, ecological, names like that. And I'm thinking rock music, guitar riff. Okay, we got it. But
Love it.
as it is riff, this is our riff on a more aggressive, more tactical style button lock. Because a lot of the button locks right now are more EDC focused, lightweight, easy to use, something kind of like, pocketable. This is meant to be a chunky, slightly overbuilt, heavier duty button lock. And you see how we have the oversized button on here. This one, we wanted to put a little accent on there, see people like it. We're not sure how this is gonna go, but we did put a brass accent on this beautiful green micarta. I love the look with the blade.
Again, like the green and gold, the green and brass
it's
always
good.
looks good.
It's so good, but this blade, look at this. Look, that is a very aggressive looking blade. I love this. The best way I'm gonna call it is a full fuller.
Full fuller, yes.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Works as a excellent middle finger flick. Rolls out nicely as well. Of course, you can just use the button. And because this blade is fairly hefty, this action feels super satisfying. I love the look of this. I love the way it feels, and it's chunky. Like this one has some mass to it.
Indeed, like it fills my hand quite nicely.
Yeah.
And what I'm feeling already because of this shape, even if your hands are bigger than this handle, it's still going to work. Like it's not going to constrict you as you come off the back side.
There's no termination point down here. It just kind of goes down. The termination point is at this nubbin right here, so it sits in the palm and contours to your hand, and it stays there comfortably. And since you don't have the, like, here, we'll do another swap. Here, take the nice, pretty metal one. Yeah, the heavy metal version. I'm keeping that. All right, so with the micarta, you get that nice feel on the micarta. It really kind of just sits there. You feel it on your fingers, and it really just sits there comfortably in the hand. There's just a lot of ways to utilize this, and just like it feels so solid. I really am enjoying this one more than I thought, because I thought it was like, oh, it's just kind of a more wide, flippery, like button lock, but it's not that. It's a chonker. This thing's big.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like a boat anchor at all.
Right.
Like it gives you the extra girth.
It's not
and there is a little
heavy.
bit of extra weight along with it compared to some of the more, EDC designs. But it's not prohibitive. It doesn't feel like a prohibitive amount.
It's a good, comfortable amount of girth. Just the right amount of girth.
It's about a 3.5-inch blade.
Yep, 3.5. I think this is 3.5 inch. So it also is a little step because of that nice clip point.
Yep.
Like that's just a straight, clip point. And you get that nice, like, fine piercing point that goes along with it without a lot of sacrificing to the actual, like, strength of the blade.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see this one in practice. I want to see what people use this one for, because this is, it's not something we've usually done. Like, across the whole CJRB line, like, we have the Tigris as, like, the big knife, but that still was a pretty thin knife.
Right.
Even though it was just wide and chunky and cleavery, we have the Krag. That's a cleaver, but again, thin cutting edge. This is pretty thick.
Yeah.
And again, with this big button lock, I want to see people using this thing and beating on it. Like, this is going to be a cool one to have.
Challenge.
Do it.
And you could put the inlay was like sandstone, you could call it the soft rock. Sorry. I've been hanging on to that one for like 5 minutes right now.
Oh man, I'm gonna put I'll put a little bit of like wool in there. Just do like a little like wool micarta, just a little like. Oh my god. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm
right.
sorry. I'm a dad. What can you do?
You're a dad now, right? That's right. The jokes come naturally. Just like genetically, you start becoming like part dad joke.
Well, what it is I've been able to. I don't have to make excuses for them anymore.
Fair enough. I don't have a name for this one yet. I have been racking my brains forever for a name for this one, and I gotta like confirm it at the factory, but we'll say tentatively, I'm calling this the Geode. This is meant to be a direct line to tactical holder, like no frills, tactical. Like that is the word.
It kind of seems to me like a little bit sitting in between the EDC stuff we were just talking about and this larger riff right here in a way. Kind of bridging the gap between those two.
It's still thin, it's still light, the blade is longer, and the handle is more spacious. I think for me personally, like, I can only say I have only so much combat knife experience. I'm at a terrible show to say that because clearly there are a billion people here who have more information about that than I do. But I've had my time on it, and if I was using this as a tactical knife, this is pretty much, if I had just like, all right, it's a tactical knife. I don't need a big old karambit. I don't need some like giant like upswept like throat slicer.
It's just kind of essence of tactical.
This
knife.
covers the basics. Yeah. It is a knife that is long enough with enough grip if you're using gloves to offer multiple grip options. It is easy to deploy and comfortable in the hand no matter what you're doing. You could have big like working gloves on, no gloves, finger injuries. It functions well. Now you notice there's a bit of a difference between these two. This is kind of our test to see what's going on and see what people like, because that one. So if you just go ahead and close that guy, that one has the regular flipper, micarta scales, and thumb studs. This one, steel frame with cutouts, hence the Geode name. It actually looks like that on the inside of that one. It's actually the same cutout. This is just a bigger slab of steel. So this one is just thumb studs with a choil. Now, I like this one because I prefer no flippers on my knives, personally, but I understand that a lot of people do like flippers, and I feel that one feels very good for that. So we're figuring out here what people like. And who knows, we might make both. But at this point, this one feels like a really solid, comfortable knife in hand. It's got a lot of space in here. Why don't we switch again?
Yeah, it's got a bit more of like a job site feel to it in a way. It's kind of that heavier duty feel to it.
Honestly, there's one thing that this reminds me of, especially with the black and the brown, your typical like K-bar. It's like, I'm not gonna say it's like a folding K-bar.
Right.
But I will say, it does carry some of those lines. It carries some of that language. It is meant to be used for multiple things and provide a strong, robust knife that can do other things in case it comes up. And while I do agree that maybe some people aren't going to agree that a 3.5-inch blade, like this is 3 1/4. No, this might be 3 1/4.
Yeah.
It's just this one's 3 1/4, that one's 3.5 because of the choil. There we go.
That's about the same as the
3.5.
Yeah,
Somewhere there. But because of that, I think mostly like a lot of the life of this knife comes from the handle and how that really is just like there's tons of space there. It's something you can grip comfortably. You have plenty of space for your thumbs. You can do this, reverse grip like this if you want, et cetera, et cetera. I think this works out nicely. And even if you're just looking for EDC,
I know you're leading into the tactical, but it's almost like so many things today have, like so many of the features here were all, like it was the tactical knife features, but now they're just so commonplace across everything.
Right.
This is just a great knife shape, period.
It's simplicity, much like the Pyrite, but it's just taking it in a slightly different direction where you're kind of prioritizing some other things.
And I love that it's actually a drop point and not a straight clip, just barely.
Just that little swedge in there makes it look like a clip point, but because that swedge is a little bit like, the light plays off it, but it is a drop point.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I always like to do stuff like lift the tip on stuff, so I'm a big fan. I gotta say, I would be happy taking this out into the woods, playing with it out there, or just carrying it day to day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nice.
It's a comfortable carry, and you just say if maybe you love the Pyrite and you want something a little bit longer,
there you go.
This might do it.
Yeah. Very, very cool indeed.
So we're tentatively saying Geode, but I got to run that by the team. I might have a different thing to say, be like, Dave, no, let's change that. It's not Geode, it's something else. So I'll send you an email.
Gotcha, no worries. Well, that's all we've got to take a look at today here at the Artisan and CJRB booth. Some really good looking stuff. I really like the lines of that Laconico.
So good.
That's really nice, but all kinds of good stuff. Russell, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Really appreciate your time. Folks, keep your eyes out on the KnifeCenter website for this stuff to start landing, hopefully real soon, especially the Laconico, the good stuff. But you'll find some links in the description that'll take you over to our Artisan Cutlery and CJRB pages. Keep sticking around for some more SHOT Show coverage. And Russell, thank you very much.
It's been great. Always awesome.
Appreciate it.